check out, throughout GNX, the album is, sprinkled with a whole lot of Bay Area sound up, and I kind of had that same feeling, especially, with the up tempo beats, kind of like a reflection of the hyphy movement. And if you're from the Bay Area or you're, well versed in Bay Area culture, that up tempo beat is that real go stupid type music where, it gets you hype. And now it's the whole kind of culture of the Bay Area, especially with like side shows and everything. So the homie Deleted got a awesome channel. If you ain't checked him out, go check it out. But he kind of tied it all together from Bay Area culture down to LA. So let's check it out.
All I ever wanted was a black grand national. Fuck being rational, give them what they asked for.
Last of a dying breed. GNX is a car that released in the year 1987, the same year Kendrick was born. They only made one model of this particular vehicle. And with this generation of hip-hop, I guess it's safe to say that this vehicle represents Kendrick Lamar. I also feel like GNX is a shout out to the Generation X. This is the generation that's before the millennials. Kendrick Lamar and I myself are millennials. Gen X to me is the best generation. I mean, because of their morals, their integrity, their strive for greatness, their brutal honesty, they are the first true rebels when it comes to popular culture. Their creativity are still being used and replicated to this day. The first to say fuck you and fuck this. The OGs that stood on principles. The very generation that hold a lot of hip hop greats like Pac, Eminem, Nas, Hove, Ye, the list goes on. So when I take a glance at the word GNX and the meaning behind the car itself, I feel like Kendrick is showing you why he's one of the last.
It's crazy because that generation, granted, that's kind of like the generation that really brought rap mainstream. Before them, it was really just, few cats, but uh, a lot of that generation is well-known artists, and after that generation, which is, you know, K. Dot and J. Cole, Drake, those age groups. It's not really a lot of people that's like mainstream still, or at least known. So it is kind of last of a dying breed if you really think about it. But I feel what he's saying, man. That generation, a lot came out of that generation of hip hop. I would say a lot of my favorites too.
Last great MCs in hip hop. So GNX dropped on a Friday. I'm late as hell. It dropped about 2 Fridays ago. I don't even know why we even doing this video because it's late. He dropped it out of nowhere. Not trying to compare him to a pregnant female, but you know, pregnant females be hiding their pregnancy, and out of nowhere they're like, "Damn, you a daddy now." It was like one of those situations. Nah, that's a bad analogy.
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
Kendrick smacked us across the face with an album. Told us to shut up and listen. This dude said, "Fuck J. Cole's inevitable. We don't care." Might as well delete that too. No one cares, gang. Go pedal off somewhere. I see you guys get mad when I still take shots at J. Cole, but I mean, come on. You guys took him out the beef and I did it. This was a street squabble. He'd be the dude knocked out on the ground and the other two would still be fighting above him. He's still there. So I've been waiting for Kendrick to drop something that brings back the energy that pulled me in from the start. The look out for Detox Flow against a heavy beat back in those digital drip and Dat Piff download days. What y'all know about that? Not saying that I didn't appreciate his entire catalog though, but I appreciate the Kendrick that gives us that unapologetic word.
Man, I remember I used to download so much shit off of that Piff. It was ridiculous, man. They had mixtapes for days. It's like as soon as a mixtape dropped, you on that Piff trying to download it. Nostalgia, bro. What y'all know about LimeWire? Downloading shit off LimeWire. That's before that Piff. But, that might be a whole different topic.
Play with a penetrating beat, pause, and crazy delivery, but also will give us the vibes we could chill with a breezy with. During Hip Hop Civil War, Kendrick came back from his hiatus with a clear mission to remind everyone why he is the greatest MC. The harsh flows and dark bars were back, but something about him felt different. Kendrick wasn't the hero people tried to label him as, that his new Mr. Morale stand base tries to bottle him into. He seemed more villainous, as if life and maturity had reshaped him. The reflective Mr. Morale persona was gone during this beef. Kendrick wasn't playing the role of the good guy anymore. He stepped in as the boogeyman, ready to dominate, just a week after Apple gave him Rapper of the Year title. Kendrick Lamar is officially back with an album. I was on vacation for my son's B-Day. My baby boy turned 5. You feel me? I took him to a Disneyland vacation, 5-day trip type beat.
And I don't know if it's because, he got his own label now that he's just kind of going back to that, old school Kendrick. I'm not going to say label has something to do with, the direction of all his other albums, but it seems like he's kind of like free to do what he wants, you know what I mean? So he's kind of getting back to that original style, because like the look out for Detox style flow where it was just in your face is definitely all throughout this GNX album, man. And it seemed like he kind of did get away from that for the last 3 albums, but I ain't mad at the last 3 albums. Still love them, but it's definitely not the young Kendrick, man. He was a beast. He's still a beast, but yeah, he was beasting back then. He was hungry, you know what I mean?
We had a blast. I was in line for a ride when my phone started blowing up about Kendrick's drop. I actually caught it fast thanks to my Discord. I seen it happen in real time. First the teaser and then the album, but I didn't get to listen to the entire album until the following Monday. I waited patiently. Kendrick the Da Vinci Code Lamar dropped GNX the same day as the JFK assassination, and that was eerie and satisfying as fuck. Really took the headshot to Aubrey Graham Cracker. He did. He blew his head back. That Daft Punk line came full circle. And I low-key feel like I was right again, man. And I was on to something. On my last video about Kendrick's Watch the Party Die release, Air Force Ones on the cover of Watch the Party Die could represent the president, because the Air Force One plane is the aircraft to fly the president of the United States. And we all know the date of when the Watch the Party Die initially released. I'm not going to say it. You need to go Google it, because last time I said that, I got demonetized for it.
The president connection is kind of a stretch. I mean, you could tie it together, but, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm sure what Kendrick say, everything is something. So who knows? But that seems like kind of a reach for me. But I ain't mad you deleted. Hey, do your thing, bro. You definitely connecting dots on this one.
Fuck that. It got to do with airplanes though. And I don't know if I can say this next word with the ist, so I'm not going to say it with the ist, but Kendrick's the new terror of hip hop. So I feel like that's what he represents with the album cover as well. And I could say I had the right idea. Now, I feel like the term Watch the Party Die is a political statement, you know, like a political party dying, which to me could be Young Money at this point, because they had a horrible year this year. If you ask me, Nicki, Drake, Wayne, they were all exposed of being corny haters. Nicki's infamous Coca-Cola rant after the Megan's Law bar and haven't been seen or heard from since. Drake still crying because no one helped him when he got jumped. So he went to the police. And Wayne is playing victim worse than any Karen I've ever came across. I can't believe he complained that damn much. If you would have told me in 2009 that this is what Young Money would turn into, I wouldn't have believed it. I liked Young Money. I know some of you guys try to like lie to kick it on here because it's not the trend to like Young Money, but when Young Money was in their prime, I like Young Money. But now they're just hard to listen to. I can't even really listen to them now. I don't take none of the stuff that they say seriously. It's kind of like a cringe to listen to. Maybe in a couple of years, but right now I had to turn the TV off. You see what I did there? Y'all see that? Y'all see what I, okay, never mind. JFK symbolism hits deeper when you think about it. There are so many conspiracies about why he was assassinated, but it's worth noting he was the president pushing for civil rights. The bill was drafted while he was alive, but it didn't get signed until after his assassination, thanks to his VP, Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, I'm not sure who would represent JFK in this situation, but with this whole Drake isn't black enough narrative, Drake calling Kendrick a savior for black people by labeling him as the Messiah, and the fact that Drake has been seen wearing a Jim Crow shirt while in blackface, yeah, that was wild. Jim Crow laws ended around the time JFK was unalived. He was also unalived in Texas, Drake being so obsessed with Texas. All this just feels connected somehow. It's just hard as hell to piece all together, but something's there. Without JFK, who knows when black Americans would have gained their rights or when Jim Crow would have finally ended, because he's the one who drafted up the documents to pass these laws. But then again, it took him to die to get them signed. Yeah, that's a crazy rabbit hole right there. I don't know though. I don't necessarily think there's a broader context. Not everything is a 50-word essay in rap. He may just be saying he's assassinating the niggas that are against him, which is Young Money. Kendrick knows how this social media thing works. He knows people are addicted to conspiracy theories and people are painting him as the conspiracy god. You think he doesn't know this?
I definitely think Kendrick he throws shit out there just to see how much people can just like, ooh, let me look at this. You know what I mean? So he's like, let me just throw this on there because this has a, you know, significant meaning to somebody with something. So he kind of like JFK's, you know, assassination date. All right, let's put it on that date. Tupac's birthday. Let's put it on that date. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, you know, it has a meaning, but I'm like, is it all what everybody comes up with? Some of the shit people come up with is wild, man. But I ain't mad at it. I like the people doing research on hip hop, man. That's a phenomenon that we ain't seen. I think Kendrick really brought that to the forefront of people. Like, let me look up lyrics. He made lyrics cool again to read them and rehearse them and understand them and listen to them, dive into them. So shout out to Kendrick, man, for that.
Sees everyone's breakdowns. At this point, I think he's just feeding the people what they want. It's kind of hard to say everything's a reach now, too, especially because everything that Kendrick has dropped so far has been on a political day. The West Coast in this album bleeds through. As a Bay Area native, I really appreciated Kendrick giving the legend E40 his flowers. He's always showed 40 love from day one. He hopped on a song with 40 produced by 40's son, Droopy, called Catch a Fade years ago.
I ain't never been a time more, Jerry. Pussy, you're a rap. Pussy, I'm a nut.
If you ain't heard that song, go check it out. Catch a Fade, man, with E40, Droopy, and K-Dot, man. Song slap. K.E came off first, so after that, it's like you don't really want to hear the song too much, but it was going in. That was early days.
He also did a song called Rossi Wine with Droopy. K.Dot would later shout out E40.
It's funny, I got a bottle of Rossi in the refrigerator, well, on the counter right now, but if you don't know about Rossi, man, hey, go get you a jug of Rossi. Some cheap wine that'll get you there, get you lit. So I've been drinking that for years now, so we had to bring it back because it's hard times these days. So
on his song Money Trees, a single off his Good Kid, Mad City album.
Bump that new E40 at the school. You know, big ballin' with my homies.
Big ballin' with my homies.
The Like That song that ignited the Civil War was an actual spin to E40's song Look At Me.
Selling lows, is you like that? All 24, you won't go, is you like that? I'm like that. It's like that. What? I'm like that. It's like that.
And I don't know, it was somebody else's song, but 40 got it from his original track. I can't think of, was it, damn, I want to say, I'm not going to say Tone Loc or something. I'm going to look it up, but I can't think of the artist. It's got my tongue. But 40 got that from original artist, and then Like That was a sample from both of them. So
Which was featuring the entire Cash Money Millionaires, Big Timers, and the Hot Boys, which I thought was funny, that he dissed Drake on a song his team was once on. And his bar on that track about Be Legit and 40 Water, who were in the group The Click, with Kendrick also referencing Tell Him When to Go when he says Tell Him. It was basically a shout out to E40's hit song Tell Him When to Go.
Niggas clicking up, but cannot be legit, no 40 water, tell 'em.
He would also channel E40 at the end of the Like That record. And if you listen closely, he also shouts out 40's name twice at the end. He says 40 Water because that's another handle that E40 goes by. Speed up to his kin and friend.
I didn't hear that shit at all. I don't know. Delete it. I don't know how the hell you heard that, bro. Like, I didn't hear that at all till he said something. I'm like, what? But I did hear a couple of other ones. But yeah, there's a lot of E40, you know, references up on that track.
Friends concert, he would have E40 narrated.
It's a fact we talking about E40, also known as 40 Water Review. Tonight's been a beautiful sight to see so far. Sometimes all it takes is one domino to fall to get the momentum going. And the West Coast needed this reminder. And I'm proud of us in this moment. How fitting that it's on June 10th. This is a victory lap. Y'all know what I read. But man, as history has shown, there's always been a fire and a certain kind of sport coming up out of Compton especially. Y'all always rise from the ashes and rise to the occasion. You love when they count you out.
And honestly, I thought that was pretty dope. After the release of GNX, people would state that there was a couple of songs that E40 would have sounded perfect on as a feature. Hey Now with Peekaboo were two songs.
All them tracks are up-tempo beats. It's all like that Rick Rock style sounding, you know, beat. And even on the Squabble Up video, man, somebody had referenced that Watch This on the Wall. It's a shot to E40 for In a Major Way, the album, because he got that big ass watch on the cover. So that could also be, you know, shout out to 40.
That people wanted to hear a verse from 40. And with Turn Your TV Off outro saying this,
Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary.
that was a spin to a song E40 was on that his son Droopy produced called Stewie. I mean, the E40 influence was intense on this album. On his video Squabble Up, he would show love to different cultures of California. On the Bay Area scene, he would pay homage to the hyphy movement, using the same dancers from 40's old video called Catch a Fade, featuring K-Dot.
Well, and you had been in the other Kendrick video.
Two more. I forget. It's the one with E40 and Droopy had made.
Catch a Fade.
Yeah, Catch a Fade, and We Gonna Be Alright.
We Gonna Be Alright. Yeah, which was shot on Treasure Island, right?
But I had seen that Lake Merritt the day before because they had the inspiration from the Black Panthers pictures right there.
Right.
So they was trying to get something right there. 'Cause when we did the Catch a Fade, I ain't even 40 had to tell us who he was. I'm like, I ain't never heard of Kendrick Lamar. Like,
Right.
What? You never heard of Kendrick Lamar?
They are seen doing the same dance movements in both videos.
I checked my IG. Then bruh hit me, the director from the video. You know,
days in advance was this.
you know,
Wow. So you signed NDAs and all that gear, or?
that gold bike is exactly from that Trunk Boys video, right?
Wow, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's little Easter eggs like that will have you wondering what else are we missing here. It's amazing how he places these Easter eggs in his material. The Bay is known for starting the Black Panther Party, the movement that went against white supremacy led by Huey Newton, with the flags representing Black America. He would double down on the end scene with the Black Panther statue to the left. This served as a double entendre, which that Black Panther served as nostalgia for the millennials and previous gens. Those statues was in everyone's granny's and auntie's house back in the 90s by the fireplace.
Yeah.
Also, he did the Black Panther album for Disney. He overseen that whole entire album. And I have yet to hear people compare Black Panther album to GNX, and I feel like GNX sounds like a part two, a continuation, if that, to Black Panther. That album he overseen was a West.
I wouldn't say that, but he definitely had a lot of he had a Bay Area artists, like he had Mozzie up on there. Was Mozzie from SAC, but you know, it's Bay Area pretty much. I mean, more or less. Like you said, the SOBR cats. I don't even remember them dudes' names. What happened to them? It was some one-hit wonders, but they was from the Bay. So he definitely, and then the movie had the Bay Area basically influence in it, but that was also from the director too. So
West Coast anthem. He had brought the West together for that album as well. Besides the features with SZA and The Weeknd, one song in particular called Paramedic by SOBRBE, a Vallejo, California rap group from the Bay Area. That song in particular, they started off with Kendrick saying Killmonger. You know what I mean? He knew this was in Killmonger's perspective. They were talking about putting their fists up like the Black Panthers in that song. The Black Panther movie's opening scene was in Oakland, California, with the Huey Newton picture in the background. Also, Kendrick is known to shout out Huey Newton and the Black Panthers in all kinds of tracks before this. So it's not, this isn't new. This isn't anything new that he hasn't done before. He shouts out the Black Panthers all the time. There are two flags that I feel represent Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. The symbolism is deeply poetic. What began as Drake's controversial lyric, mocking Black Americans by referencing slavery, has ignited Kendrick's activist stance. Kendrick's renewed emphasis on celebrating American and West Coast culture serves as a direct response. It's important to remember that Drake attempted to weaponize the West Coast legends against Kendrick using AI-generated voices, further intensifying the conflict. Ultimately, this represents another full circle moment, a layered double meaning, standing strong in the identity of being a Black American from the West Coast. So for him not to have to worry about getting blackballed and all that, he's not going to show the actual Black Panther logos. He's going to show symbolism. We know that Black American flag wasn't made for the Black Panther Party, but there's a reason why he showed.
And I think that's the thing. Like I'm not gonna put it out there. I want y'all to figure it out. So he's like, let me just put those little Easter eggs out and see if y'all can figure it out. I'm not gonna put it just blatant in y'all face. Give y'all clues. Just try to find all the clues, man.
Those two flags in a Bay Area scene. Oakland and the Bay will let you know that we know our roots. You also see a book that Kendrick Lamar is reading saying how to be Kendrick for dummies or something like that. I thought that was dope because even though it's saying what it's saying, it's teaching these lames how to be Kendrick basically. Like this is how you.
Has anybody figured out what that dude's belt, all the shit that was on his belt? Because there was a lot going on with that belt, man. Nobody's said nothing. I want to try to do some research on it, see if I can figure it out. Be the first one to figure it out. Probably not. But.
You be a real nigga type thing. Out here in the Bay, we use the word dummy a lot. Go dumb, get stupid, go dummy. You feel me? And then finally, the painting to the right on the ground with the Black Jesus pictures. That was also very nostalgic because it was hung in our family's houses. However, there was a sign covering it with a 40 price tag, which I feel was another shout out to E40. Not calling 40 Jesus or nothing like that, but just a way of showing the number 40. E40 doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get his flowers. And this whole thing from the start of the beef all the way to GNX, Kendrick showed the Bay and 40 a lot of love, and I respect him for that. The vibes gave me a Raphael Sadiq from 2020, who is an Oakland native, and some Too Short as well. But for the most part, almost all the tracks sound like an E40 beat. People tend to lump the Bay Area and LA together as if they're interchangeable when it comes to music. LA and the Bay Area are 6 to 7 hours apart by car, and their music scenes reflect that distance.
Man, the Bay Area and LA is like two different worlds, man. If you ever been in, when you would go visit like LA or something, go visit, and I'm from the Bay Area. Cats be like, oh man, you from the Bay, and they start trying to reference like LA shit, and I'm like, it's not the same, bro. We totally different. Like, you know what I mean? It's a total different world from LA to the Bay. You know what I mean? Like the car culture is different. I mean, like we ride old schools as fast, you know what I mean, with big engines and do donuts. LA, they more laid back, with the six folds. I'm sure they got some fast shit out there too. But as far as what they known for is the low riding, you know what I mean? And then the music sounds is a lot different too.
In hip-hop, the Bay Area is often grouped with LA. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves as a pioneer of the genre.
The biggest thing I see about you is everybody say you stole Oakland sound.
Yeah.
Who said that?
You was here. Of course you was here. Yeah, Mustard, man. It's the bass.
But that's the one thing that Oakland dude is never going to hate on nobody from LA. Like, you know what I mean? Mustard sound is up-tempo, but ain't nobody going to say, oh, man, you stole a Bay Area sound. Like, you could say his beats kind of sound like Rick Rock's beats, you know what I mean, with the more up-tempo. But you ain't going to say he stole the Bay Area sound, you know what I mean? Because we all influence each other, really. You know what I mean? If you really think about it. So, unless you from Texas or some a different state, then somebody might say, oh man, you stole that sound. So, but yeah, the Bay don't get enough credit. But when cats come to the Bay or they go to the Bay and perform, they show a lot of love when they come out there if they're not from out there. So I mean, they might bring Mr. Fab on, and I mean, even Drake did it. You know what I mean? Drake did a song with Mr. Fab in a video, you know what I mean? Talked about Mac Dre. So everybody showed the Bay love, but we don't get the credit that we deserve for, you know what I mean, the contribution to hip hop. I agree with that.
I forgot what it was. I don't know.
Sage the Gemini was up here.
Nah, I wasn't Sage.
Who else
Sage
was
is
up in the
cool.
Bay?
I forgot it. Wasn't he 40?
Nah, I'm wearing a 40
You got
t-shirt.
a 40 shirt on now.
Who the hell said that? I forgot.
It must have been Keisha Cole.
Do you
Nah,
care?
do I
It
care?
was Keisha.
Nah, I got.
It just sometimes get disappointing that the Bay Area doesn't have more advocates or representation for its undeniable contributions to hip hop, with artists like Kendrick Lamar, who
It don't, but if you really ask somebody, they know. You know what I mean? Like, even back in the day, Nori was, saying for shigadel me, for shiggity, and Snoop would say, for sheezy, like all that stuff. Everybody got it from Bay. So slang, especially, is definitely, you know, a lot of people get slang from the Bay Area. I mean, even hater, like player hater, that shit came from Bay Area. You know what I mean? I can go on with a whole bunch of different slangs that people say now or used to say that came from Bay Area. So they don't get the respect, but if you really talk to somebody that's well versed in music and hip hop, they'll tell you, how much the Baden did and put on for hip hop. So
genuinely knows and loves the West Coast culture the way that he does. It shows. You could tell he studied the game from every angle because he doesn't just rep one part. He doesn't just represent where he's from, which is LA. He shows love to the entire West Coast. You could really feel that energy throughout the GNX album. You could truly feel the LA and the Bay culture in one. But at the end of the day, we're all one coast and we're all one big fan.
You know who don't get a lot of love is San Diego, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mitchie Slick, bro. Like, San Diego don't get a lot of love as far as like the hip hop. There's a lot of cats out there that then made some waves in music that don't get the recognition. So just wanted to throw that out there. San Diego, Dago.
Family. We're just distant relatives. This is our coast. This is our family. And like any family, we got our own inner problems, but it doesn't matter. We still family and we ride it. Kendrick Lamar implemented the sounds of the West as a whole, from the Bay to LA, from the hyphy movement to the Quiet Storm, and then the G-Funk. And I'll be sharing my perspective as a Bay Area native, which I feel like no one really has. The way Kendrick can capture the essence of the Bay and LA while implementing them in one song, or the whole album for that matter, is insane and impressive. Listening to this album makes me feel like I'm waking up on a Saturday morning, getting ready to watch cartoons and spend the day with my friends riding bikes. Why would I say riding bikes? Or on a Friday night at the movies with my friends looking at breezies to holler at. It's nostalgia for everyone who grew up in the West. The Bay and LA, we aren't the same at all. Two very different cultures. So to be able to channel both cultures in one album is insane. It's I don't know. I'm a loss of words. Kendrick really is GOAT, and he right now is the king of the West.
Yeah, man. I agree with Deleted, bro. Shout out to Deleted, man. He got a dope channel. He breaks down shit. He's funny as hell, man, but he keeps one on it and he tells it how he feels. I mean, he don't give a shit what nobody say, but I definitely recognize the Bay Area influence, but I'm glad that he broke it down, the way he did. Very detailed, very concise, man, and he put some stuff in there that I didn't even think about, so gotta give him his props on that one. Check out his channel, man, and if you like what you're looking at, if you like what we on here doing, like and subscribe to my channel. We're gonna have some more stuff coming up. I want to do a top 10 disc records video. I want to have that coming up next, but yeah, man, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.